If you haven't seen my previous video, please click the link here. And as always, please subscribe. So after posting my Midnight Unicorn color video, I got a ton of questions on how I achieved these curls. So I guess the good news is I filmed it. The bad news is it was my first time ever using Permrods. So here's what I did. The products that you would need to do this is I used the Carol's Daughter Hair Milk line. So I started with the cleansing conditioner to wash my hair. Then I followed that up with the original leave-in conditioner. And then in order to set the perm rods, I used the styling foam. So apparently the humidity where I live is no joke, and my hair had a rough night. I decided to capitalize on the fact that my hair was still clean from this previous curl former set and try something that I'd never tried before. So perm rods it is. So I purchased 3 different sizes because I wanted to have some looser curls in the front and a little bit of tighter ones in the back. I started then by sectioning my hair into smaller sections, doing a larger part to get half my hair out of the way, and then sectioning that portion into a smaller section of 2. Just a little pre-warning, this is literally the first time I've ever tried to install perm rods, and so this was kind of a learning experience. So I will also tell you the things that I would do again and the things I definitely did not do correctly. So there are a couple techniques on how to install these, but this is the way that I did it. I started by just dampening the section of my hair with a little bit of water and then brushing through it completely to make sure that my natural curl pattern was gone, as well as making sure there weren't any tangles so that my curls would lay as smooth as possible. I then put some of the Carol's Daughter styling foam into the section, and then starting at the base, twisted just the end, probably about ½ an inch of my curl around the rod. Then using kind of a twisting motion, I wrapped the remaining portion of hair around the curl. So I found that this technique gave me a better, more defined curl because of that extra twisting motion that you're getting on the hair. Like I said, I've watched a couple YouTube videos on this, and there are a couple different ways of doing it, but I found that I really liked this technique the best. So one thing that I would say that I did incorrectly is that my sections were really messy, so that it made it a little bit difficult to install the rods as I kept going. So one thing that I would do differently is make cleaner sections. But the technique itself I found worked really well for my hair. Like I said, you can just roll the rod up the hair, but the technique that I found that actually makes the curls really well defined and really springy is when you start with this technique. So I'll show you here one more time up close. So start by sectioning off the hair into a smaller section, which I did do a better job in the front of making the sections more clean. So clip the remaining hair out of the way, take your rod size that you want, and then wrap about the last ½ an inch around the rod itself to secure your hair to the rod. Then using a twisting motion, twist the rod around the hair and secure at the end. It's a really simple thing, and I found this technique was really easy, but the main thing that made it a little bit more difficult for me to install these was because my sections weren't clean and the rods weren't all going the same direction. As you can see here, I ended up using the larger orange rods on the top of my hair, 1 because my hair is longer there, and 2 because I wanted bigger curls. So one thing I did completely incorrectly was judging the way that I needed to twist my hair so that my part would go the right direction. So as you can see here, I'm twisting the curl around the rod, and instead of going clockwise, I should have gone counterclockwise so that that curl would actually lay the correct direction. So that's one thing that you just need to make sure of when you're installing the curls, that you make sure that the ones near your part, if you have a part in your hair, are going the correct direction. But after that, I just secured a couple of the curls that I realized I did too loose, and then sat under my hooded dryer for about what felt like forever. When I began taking down the curls, I started with the ones that I did last to make sure that they were actually dry. You want to start by twisting the rods in the opposite direction that you installed them so that you ensure that your curls stay in a really nice tight pattern. And then you're just going to do this over your entire head, making sure to be very delicate so that you don't get too much frizz as you go along. So So you then want to just make sure that all of your curls are dry. You can always go back under your hooded dryer for a little while to ensure that they are. What you don't want to do is start separating and fluffing before they're dry, because that's how you'll end up with frizz. So all you have to do next is just go curl by curl and separate them to your desired level of volume. One thing that I definitely noticed that I did, or I guess did incorrectly, was some of the rods were not tight enough to my head. So near the roots at the crown of my head, I found that some of my natural curl pattern was still there. So that's one thing I would definitely do different next time, is make sure that the rods are securely tight all the way down to your scalp. So once you're done separating your curls to the level that you like, you're going to then go in and pick and fluff for your desired volume. So the technique that I use is I kind of grab my hair between my thumb and forefinger little webbing, if that makes any sense, and pull it kind of tight, and then use my pick to go in just at the roots. I find that using this technique doesn't ruin my curls and also allows me to get in there because of the length of my hair. So basically you're just going to keep using this technique of pulling it a little bit taut and fluffing until your little heart's content. Basically just fluff it to the volume that you'd like. So once you're done fluffing and styling your hair, which I literally could do all day, there is a mandatory happy dance, because what you learned on YouTube worked in real life. So, oh yeah, forgot. It got weird. But anyways, I was so excited because my curls turned out exactly how I thought they would, and this style actually lasted me a good week. I could have worn it longer, but I can't go more than a few days without washing my hair. But once it started to get frizzy, I just transitioned it into other styles. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please just comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.